Have you been wanting to change your life, but you just haven't quite felt ready yet? Maybe you think you just need one more course, one more YouTube video, you just need to read one more inspirational post, and then you'll feel confident and then you'll feel ready. Maybe you're feeling a little fearful about making change in your life and what could happen. Maybe you're feeling a little frustrated and angry in your current job or position. Or maybe you're feeling a little tired of life feeling so hard and like you're stuck on the hustle culture hamster wheel. If you feel any of those ways, then courage is the answer you're looking for. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you the different levels of emotional states and how courage is the key to all of those. Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I'm a former 9-to-5er turned life coach, and I'm here to help you start your soul-led business, leave your 9-to-5, and start living your dream life. So if you've been watching my videos for a little while now, you may have noticed a theme in the content that I create. The videos that I create on this channel are for people who feel like they're stuck in their day job. They dream of their soul-led business, they want to make more money, and they want more time in their lives. These are people who are tired of hustle culture and grinding, and they just want to step into flow and trusting the natural path of their lives. And wanting all of these things can create a lot of emotions inside of us. Or we may have a predominant disposition or current emotional set point that holds us back from moving forward in our lives. So one of the most common emotions that comes up when we're feeling a little stuck and we are wanting to make a change in our life is fear. So maybe you fear the judgment of others, you fear failure, or you just fear what could happen next. And when you're feeling like this, it's not about feeling confident. It's about mustering the courage to take the first step. So when I was still in my 9-to-5 and I was feeling quite stuck there, I had been desiring to leave for quite some time, but I was stuck in fear and not moving forward. At the time, I was telling myself that I couldn't move forward because I didn't know what I wanted to do next. But in reality, I was mostly just scared of the next steps. I was scared of failing, of choosing the wrong thing, of what people would think about me, especially my current coworkers. So for me, I was really concerned with the judgment of others. I was in a well-respected career path in engineering. It's considered really safe, really stable, it's good income. And I was considering moving into entrepreneurship, which is considered the opposite of all of that, basically. It's risky. Everyone thinks that you're going to have to work really hard and that you'll make no money. And so I was really concerned with what people would say about me moving from one realm to like a completely different realm. And to really understand the whole idea of our emotions, I want to introduce you to the idea of the levels of consciousness. So the levels of consciousness were developed or researched by David R. Hawkins. He's a psychiatrist and a spirituality teacher, and his research was into the fields of consciousness and spirituality. So his research aimed to quantify the vibration of certain emotional states. So you can feel the difference between the emotional state of anger versus happiness, or sadness versus elation. You can feel that difference in your body. And so his research was assigning a frequency to various emotional states. So this diagram that I'm showing to you right now was adapted from a diagram on the internet that comes from his book, Power versus Force. He has many books, and this is just one example. And a lot of the information kind of carries over between his various books because his work is primarily based on the spectrum that you're seeing now. So on this diagram, you can see in the middle, in all the colors, are different levels of consciousness or different emotional states. And on the left of that is power and force. And so the idea here is that when you're in force, you're not working with the flow of life, you're making things happen, or you're maybe not in any action at all. And when you're in your own power or you're in your own strength is when you're in a high positive vibration and life is just flowing a little bit more smoothly. And so The idea here is that courage is kind of that tipping point or that trigger that moves you from lower vibrational states into the higher flow, higher energy vibration that makes life just a little bit easier, and you're stepping into your true power. And if you're into manifestation at all, then this work really focuses on raising your vibration into those states of being in your own power, where you allow yourself to flow and you work with spirit or the universe or whatever you consider to be a higher power, in which things happen in more ease and flow in your life rather than trying to force things to happen. So in this video, I'm not going to be walking you through all of these emotions, and I'm just going to focus on the ones that I feel I have the most experience with and the area that I was kind of hovering around when I was thinking about quitting my job and working towards quitting my job. So those emotional states are the range between fear and courage. So if you look on the right and you see in this triangle, anything below fear is labeled as inaction. When you're in fear or any emotional state lower than fear, you're at a very low vibration and you aren't taking action forward in your life. And so if you can think about when you're feeling a little scared, you feel almost frozen. You just feel like you can't take those steps forward because you're too scared. You're paralyzed with fear. And so like I said earlier, I was definitely in a low-key form of fear that was holding me back in my life. And so the ways that I was sort of stuck in fear was by telling myself that I didn't know what to do next. And it was also by taking actions that kept me playing small. So I would take actions and I would feel like I was moving forward, but I was never actually really leaving my comfort zone. And I was just taking these baby steps that weren't really making a difference. So this can look like building your website forever, or working on your branding forever, or just doing things that you don't really have to actually put yourself out there as a business owner and put yourself out there to be seen. So back in the day, I kind of had always been interested in starting a YouTube channel, but that was way too scary at the time. And so I just focused on things that were easy and things that kept me comfortable, and it didn't actually move things forward as far as my business or leaving my 9-to-5. So above fear, we move into desire, anger, and pride. And you can see on the right that these are a state of hyperactivity. So there is movement now in these emotional states, but the way I like to think about it is that these emotional states are kind of like moving into the hustle culture where you have to continually keep doing things, you're kind of forcing things to happen the way you think they should, and you're just hustling to keep the ball rolling. You're really rowing your boat upstream in these emotional states. So when we think about desire, it's actually okay to have a little bit of desire. You need to have that moment in your life where you see something and you realize, I want that for my life. But one of the things that can happen when you're at this level of desire, it can really become a constant state of craving, and it can have a very addictive quality. And your emotional state that you experience when you're kind of stuck in desire is the state of never having enough. And again, if you're interested in manifestation at all, you want your vibration to match the things that you want. And so if you're constantly focusing on never having enough, then that's what you're bringing into your life. Your dominant emotional state is your magnetism. So whatever you're thinking and focusing on, that's what you're bringing towards you. And so if anyone has ever heard of Abraham Hicks, they're kind of a spiritual teacher or the spirit guide of Esther Hicks that is channeled through Esther. And they share a lot of tips on manifestation and changing your life like that. And so the process shared by Abraham is step 1, you experience contrast in life that makes you ask for more. It makes you feel desire. So for example, say you've been driving the same car that you've had since college and it's been fine up until now, but then all of a sudden your neighbor gets like a really nice new car and you see that car and you experience a contrast between your car that's say 10, 20 years old and your neighbor's brand new car, and you all of a sudden you feel this desire for a new car. And so that's actually needed to get the ball rolling on creating any change in your life. But where step 2 comes in is that you need to understand that as soon as you feel that desire, the universe starts working with you and starts to put things in motion to make it happen. The universe says, okay, we're going to make that happen for you. And step 3, all you have to do is raise your vibration to whatever it is that you want. So you don't want to get stuck in the desire vibration. Remember, your manifestations happen the most easily when you're living above the line of courage. So if your constant emotional state that you're now living in is, oh, my car, I don't like my car anymore. It's old, it's junky. Look at my neighbor's car. I really wish I had a car like that. That's not aligning yourself to the energy of the new thing that you want in your life. And the solution here to begin to raise your vibration to that of which you want is to focus on feeling satisfied and appreciative in your life. That is a higher vibration that will bring things to you. And for some of us, this desire step is really important because we can get into this state of kind of accepting the status quo because we don't think we deserve more. We don't think that more is possible for us, or we think that more is going to be a lot more work, and we just don't have the energy to make that happen. So moving on from desire to anger, anger has a lot of movement as well, and we can actually tap into this sometimes to get things moving. If you're feeling really frustrated from not having your desires met, then you can get angry about that. And sometimes that's enough of an emotional momentum to get you moving forward. Or perhaps that you can just get kind of sick of your life and you go from this inactive state of just accepting and living with everything that is making you unhappy and unfulfilled. And one day you can just get really angry about it. And that's the energy, that's the spark that you need to start moving things forward. Put a plan in place and start making action to change your life. But make sure that you're not getting stuck in anger, because that again is not productive or healthy. And moving on to pride, this is where you've started putting in some work, you've started making things happen, and you've started accomplishing things. And so you can start to feel a sense of pride from the work that you're putting in. And you may also be receiving external validation from others who also see the work that you're putting in, and they're starting to praise you for it. And again, this is where a lot of people can make things happen in their lives, and you can definitely change your life from this emotional state. But this is kind of where we see a lot of the hustle and flex culture that is predominant today, especially online. And so when you're living at this level, everything tends to be driven by appearances and achievement and always reaching for more. And you never really get that fulfillment and that inner satisfaction where you feel whole and complete, because everything that you're doing is seeking external praise and validation. So it's kind of like this hamster wheel where to continue to feel happy and have those moments of satisfaction that comes from what you're achieving, you constantly have to be achieving. The way to really transcend all of these lower vibrational states is with courage. And that is why courage is the most important emotional state when it comes to changing your life. You find courage first, you take those steps, and then confidence comes later. So as you can see on the diagram, courage is the first step into being in your power, being in your own strength. And that strength is the strength to trust. And from this vantage point, you see life as both exciting and challenging. And that's okay. Life is a blend of that. So courage really is the gateway to the higher vibrational states and manifesting the life that you want. And the great thing is that if you're watching this video, you're probably already interested in changing your life and you're interested in personal development and you're already taking those first steps to figure things out. So you already have the courage to admit that maybe you want something different for yourself and you're out there looking for people and advice to help you. And that's great. When you're in this state, you're probably starting to see a brighter future for yourself rather than life continuing the way that it always has been. And so what you can take away from this video is you can identify what you think your predominant emotional state is right now. And then you can use the tips I'm about to talk about to help you move out of those states into courage and above and really start to get the ball rolling. And so if you're stuck in fear or any lower emotions, then you really need to get moving. You need to get unstuck because you're going to be really stuck in this state. And it may actually take an external stimulus or something really inspiring to really get you moving. And this can be quite a tough state to get moving out of. And depending on where you're at or what type of support you're receiving, you could move straight from fear into courage and take that big leap. But sometimes it's a little bit harder to take that leap. And so you can work your way up the levels of consciousness from fear through to desire, all the way up to courage. And so the first step could be just thinking about your life, thinking about what's working and what isn't working. Think about what you want to change. And then you start to create that desire within yourself that can start to pull you forward. And once you're in that kind of desire state, maybe the desire and the possible outcome that you see for yourself is enough to move you into courage. But on the other hand, if it isn't enough to move you straight to that courage step, then you could move into anger. You can think about all the things that you want in life, and maybe you have a lot of frustration built up. Maybe you have frustration about your job or your life or just things that aren't the way you want them to be. And so you could channel that frustration into action. You don't want to dwell on frustration and anger, channel it into action. And then once you're in action and things start happening, you can start to feel really proud of yourself and proud of your accomplishments. But again, don't get stuck in this state of pride and hustle and external validation and achievement being the source of your fulfillment in life. And the way to move out of this into courage is really to have the courage to trust that it can be done easier, that it can be easy, that it can be done a different way than you're currently doing it, and that you can be surprised and delighted at the way that your life starts to unfold in a way that you maybe weren't expecting. So it's important to have that desire, to have that end goal, and to know what you want and move forward, but don't become attached to things unfolding exactly the way you think that they should. And that's kind of one of the biggest lessons in life is it's okay to want things, but when we start to get expectations about how we think they should go or how exactly it needs to look, that's actually where a lot of disappointment comes from in our lives. So it's important to focus on, yes, you can want things for yourself, but really just focus on the end state and not on all the details of how you'll get there. And so if you've been thinking about making change in your life, but you've been kind of waiting until you feel ready and you feel confident in yourself, maybe you've been watching a lot of YouTube videos or reading books and just kind of consuming more information to feel ready to take that leap, then don't focus on feeling confident. Focus on mustering courage in whatever way makes sense for you in where you're at right now. And once you have that courage and you start to get into action and you start to learn and make things happen, that's where confidence comes from. Confidence comes from action and experience in life, not from consuming a ton of information. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped you in some way. Hopefully it'll help open your eyes as to where your predominant emotional state is right now and to how to start moving out of that and into action. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you'd give the video a like and consider subscribing if you want more videos like this every week. And I'll see you in the next video.